Hello, all of you K-drama people out there. My name's Erin, and welcome to K-Chat. We are going to talk about the new Netflix K-drama that just came out, Crash Course in Romance.
프라이드 메이크스 메스. 수학은 최치열과.
Episode 1, You and I, intersection of two universes. Bam. The goal of this video is that you've already watched the episodes and really just came here to kind of chat with me and discuss your feelings, see how other people feel. I love watching K-dramas, but not a lot of people in my life do, so I figured this would be a good way to kind of chat about it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk all about the episodes and give what I think will happen or what I hope will happen, that kind of stuff going forward. So jumping right in, let's talk about the setting. So as with many K-dramas that I've seen, the setting is around school and how competitive the market is, and kids working super hard to get the best grades possible, parents hiring tutors, and obviously like the richer you are, the better tutors you can get, and that kind of thing. So we're in that world kind of again. We meet Heya. Wabam. Pardon my crude drawings. I am not an artiste, but I tried. So Heya is in high school and she's doing fairly well, but she does not have the money or opportunity to go to extra classes. And she really hasn't asked, I think probably because she knows her situation and that maybe it wouldn't be possible. But she's doing pretty good in spite of that. So we meet her and her friend Sanjay, who definitely there's something brewing there. They're very flirty, but I think she sees it more of just a friend. He kind of is into it, but we don't get super into it yet, but just kind of like the beginnings. We also meet Sua, who is obviously kind of like the rival of Heya. She's number one in the class. She takes all the extra classes. So you can kind of tell that she's going to be the overachiever, jealous one on the other end. Her plot point, this hasn't come into play a lot yet, but we find out that Sanjay's mom is a lawyer. She says not to call her attorney or lawyer, flip-flop. She basically tells the other moms to not call her the one or the other. So you can tell she's kind of very strict. She's not in the mom circles. Like, she keeps her son up with everything, but she's not like one of those uber rich gossipy moms like the other ones. We also meet Heya's, we assume mom, or I at least assumed mom, at the beginning of the show. Hung Seom. Again, pardon the art skills. I tried. Hung Swom. She owns the restaurant Nation's Best Bang Chan, which is kind of close to the school. Let's see. She is not... The moms come into her shop when they're trying to get good seats for their kids in class, and things like that. So she knows of that world, but she's not in that world. And as far as she knows, Heya hasn't requested any of those classes or anything, so she thinks everything's great. And then we meet the man of the hour, Chechio. He is the rock star of math. He is the guy that everybody wants to take classes from. Literally a rock star. He makes trillions of dollars a year, based on what he said. His time is very valuable. He's the guy for math and for tutoring. He has a really hard time he works at Pride Academy, sorry. He has, because he's so busy, he dedicates a lot of his life, time and everything else to his work at Pride Academy. He's not eating very much. Lots of people always comment to him that he's gotten thinner. Even his assistant tries to get him to eat, and he literally feels sick when he tries to eat something. So he knows it's a problem. He's actually been to the doctor for it, but he just cannot get it under control. He's not eating, he's not really sleeping. So he doesn't really pay a lot of attention to those around him. And it's not that, I don't think they view him as like mean, but I don't think they definitely view him as nice. It's just kind of like he's, I think maybe condescending is how they feel about him, based on reactions. So that's our 3 main characters, at least in the first episode. There's a lot of smaller characters, but those are the main 3. Being the rock star that he is, Choi Cheol is, all the girls want to give him presents, and it's literally like he's a K-pop idol, right? Like they swarm to him after class, trying to give him treats, and things like that. And there's a student in the class that is very creepy not creepy, she's just overzealous, I guess. And he does not take the cookies that she's trying to give him. So later that comes back in that she shows up at his apartment, and he is trying to get her out of there. During trying to get her to leave, a paparazzi snaps a picture, because he's the rock star that he is, right? Snaps a picture of her hugging him, even though he's not reciprocating in any way. Obviously, that's a bit of a scandal. So he becomes paranoid that everybody's looking at him about his status, things like that. So it just so happens that Sang-woo, the brother and uncle, is obsessed with tigers, and Choi Cheol is wearing a jacket that has a tiger on it, so he's interested and takes a picture. But it is misconstrued, and this whole big chase happens. I forgot to mention Hung Swum's a national handball athlete, so it comes into play a couple times that she's super fast. So there's a whole chase scene, and it ends up that a phone gets broken. But they meet each other, but not in the best of circumstances. At the end of the episode, we find out that Heya wants to take the math class. So she asks Hung Swum to sign her up, which she agrees to, but we also find out that that is not her mother, not even her stepmother. It's her aunt, who is taking care of her because she was left by her mother, but that's all we really know at this point. So that is episode 1, very quickly. So it's really just, I think, set up and starting a few things. Like we know, oh, the food. So let me tell you about the food. So I told you that Choi Cheol can't eat. Like anything he tries to eat literally makes him sick. So his assistant happens to get Nation's Best Bang Chen, and brings it to him, hoping that he'll maybe just eat some, try it out, try different things. Turns out that he can eat. That eats the whole thing, and literally is almost in tears because he can eat it. So we are setting up there, obviously, that they are going to meet because that is the food that he can eat. Thus ends episode 1. So initial meeting, do not like each other. Episode 2, the probability of encountering your enemy at your worst. So we start out this episode in the past. We see Cheol eating, younger as a student, and he's eating at this restaurant, and they talk about how he only eats once a day and that he's studying really, really hard, and he's studying to become a teacher. He finds out that his father passed away. Heartbreaking scene. I was really tugging on the heartstrings here, this whole situation. We also see a young Hong Swum. She is at the national handball team situation, super proud of that. She's a teenager, and it's her mom's restaurant that we find them in, the same place that Cheol was eating. We see her being all excited about her handball situation, and then comes the moment where Heya is left. She's just standing in the doorway all by herself as probably like a 5-year-old kid with a suitcase. Left. The mom basically says, "Hey, did your mom leave you?" Which obviously is her daughter, and Hong Swum's sister. So the mom goes to try to catch her and ends up passing away as well. So that leaves all the responsibility on Hong Seom to take care of her niece as well as her brother. She tries to do both her life and what she had going and also care for them, but quickly that can't happen. So we see that she's taking Heya to school. Heya asks if she can just call her mom, and she tells her of course she can. Again, heartbreaking moment, but so sweet. Heya's so excited and happy when that's the case. But it basically shows that Hong Seom gave up all of her dreams and her desires to then start working in the restaurant and eventually coming to own the restaurant. I'm guessing that will come back around later in the series about how much she gave up for that stuff. Now we're back into present day, and Cheol is amazing. He's complimenting people, he's noticing people, he's giving compliments. People are like, he's having a good day, and it's all because he ate. So he is way more congenial than he normally is, and people are noticing that and really liking that. So obviously he asks where this place is. He wants to go get more food, and as they are heading in, he sees who the owner is, and they obviously know each other and are enemies because of the whole phone situation, running around chasing each other in episode 1, wherein the phone was broken of her brother. So he says, "We're not gonna go here anymore," and they leave, and he tries to get food from somewhere else, but to no avail. He has the same exact situation happen as before. He gets sick and he can't eat, so he inevitably has to go to Nation's Best Bangchun if he's going to eat, which he has to. So he goes, but he disguises himself in a hat and sunglasses. Clark Kent, if you will. Superman. So they don't notice who he is, and he's obviously lurking so that they wouldn't find out who he was. But he overhears about the phone situation. It makes him feel bad. So he wants to get a phone to make up for the one that he ended up breaking on accident. So he brings her one, but that then makes it seem like maybe he likes her, and they don't know who he is at this point. But they just think like, oh, it's this customer who keeps coming in, and he obviously likes you. So we see Hong Seom get a little like, she likes the idea of potentially dating and like someone liking her, even though she basically is like, I won't do it. I think she likes the idea and hadn't probably thought about that in a long time. Also, During this time, Hung Seom told Heya she was going to get her enrolled in the class, right? And it's super duper competitive. Uh, like setting alarms, getting up, the parents are rushing to get in line. There's this huge line. And I really thought they were going to cut it off and have her be the last, like the person before her be the last one. But actually, she gets the very last ticket. So Heya is in. She is in the class, and that is very exciting. There's also some strange things happening in this episode. First thing is Sanjay's mom, who we talked about in episode 1. That's a lawyer. She is getting drunk at home, which Sanjay doesn't seem to like. And so he is going to bed, and she leaves money like in a cabinet on some plates. And then some hooded man comes in and takes it, but I don't know what he really did. Did I miss something? Maybe, but I didn't see him do anything other than take the money. Still weird that it's a hooded man. So another weird thing that's happening in the episode. So the girl, the student that was having the issues, or like the paparazzi that took a picture in the first episode with Cheol and the student. So she loves the idea that people think that she is having an affair or with Cheol. And she's just talking on her phone at night, walking, and boom, out of nowhere, gets hit with, I guess it's a BB gun, because it's a round pellet. But she falls down. We don't know what happens to her. But that happened. So, obviously, we'll get more into that. Also, I didn't mention, but in the first episode, Cheol has this like flashback about a student, but we don't know what it's really about, except that she's super eager to like talk to him and tell him stuff. But then in episode 2, we get a little bit more of that onion peeled back, because Sua is in class and gets caught working on a workbook for Cheol's after school class. The teacher does not like this and basically scolds her and takes the book. And then we find out that the teacher, he meets Cheol. So not a planned meetup, but he ends up seeing him in the bookstore. And the teacher essentially recalls like that they were probably in school together. And he thinks he's this big shot now. And even having all the money, he's still losing weight, and basically kind of gives it to Cheol. Like, you're this fancy schmancy teacher and you still don't have everything, and etc. But there is this conversation about a student, and it's the same student that in the first episode he was kind of having flashbacks about. And apparently she passed away. So that's definitely a mystery that we will have to dig into going further into the episodes. Back to the main story. Se-woo, the uncle slash brother, he sees a bus stop ad kind of thing for Cheol, and he's like, I know him. Where do I know him from? And for like a day, that's all he keeps saying is, who is he? Who is he? Who is he? To the point that it's like annoying to people around him. So, I don't know if I said, Hung Seom wants to give back the phone, basically saying she can't accept it. So when he comes in that night, she goes to give it to him, but Se-woo realizes, oh, I know who he is. So it's revealed that he is the guy that they were chasing they were chasing for the phone the other day, and that had broken the phone and all of that. And he's basically saying, hey, like, I tried to give you the phone. That's my compensation. I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. But then in the middle of the whole scuffle, boom, another one of those BB guns from the girl that was in the paparazzi picture or whatever. Same thing. shoots through the window of the Bangchan restaurant where they're all at. Dun dun dun. End of episode 2. So we're starting to pick up speed and get some of those mysteries. So I'm excited and looking forward to talk to you about episode 3 and 4 next week. So let me know your thoughts. Did I miss anything? Do I have anything wrong? What are your thoughts on what's going to happen? And hopefully I will see you there. Have a good week.